Welcome everyone to my very first video podcast. This is one of hopefully many that you'll receive with quick tutorials as to how to create and do things on the computer. So rather than me talk out the front, you simply listen to yours individually and you can go back and rewind and go through something again if you don't understand. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, today we're looking at Adobe Photoshop, and in particular we're going to create a few special effects. If I can get you all to go to the Photoshop icon, the blue icon. Now, a lot of the time what we've done before, and clicking on edit, a lot of the time what we've done before is you have opened an individual photo and you have created a number of effects using layers and that sort of thing. This is actually a very quick and easy way to add a few very simple effects and also frame a picture, which is the main purpose of what we're doing today. So once Photoshop is loaded, you need to find a photograph. So I'm quite simply going to click on File, Open, and I'm going to find the photograph that I want to use. Now I can't see those photos that I want to, so I'm going to quite easily click on that little icon up there and thumbnails, and that gives me the photos and the folders so I can see them quite easily. Let's choose Miss Jan as an example. I'm going to open her up and it'll just load up. Excellent. Now we have in the past used these tools down here to cut people's faces out and cut other objects out and put them on different places and color things in. We're not going to do that today. We're actually going to click on the purple button up here, Create, and that brings up another couple of options that we can choose. These are the projects that Photoshop has chosen for us if we want to, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to click on Artwork. Okay, now there's a number of things you can do with artwork. This little button here underneath the Content tab, make sure it's on Type. Some people will probably have Show All, and that can be very difficult to understand. What we want to do is we want to show this little box here. It's going to show by the type, and the type is going to be set by this button here. Now we're not going to worry about backgrounds for now. If we put a background on, it'll go over the top of Miss Jan, and we don't want that. One example I'm going to show you is frames. So click on Frames, and it comes up with a whole load of frames you can put around your individual picture. Going all the way down, there's some pretty funky frames. There's circular frames, frames with things you can put text in, all that sort of thing. Love hearts, puzzles. All the way up to the very top, we're going to choose the leopard skin frame, and that's going to apply to that effect. Take a few moments for it to load up, and there we have it. So I can now, using this button toolbar up here, I can actually make Miss Jan smaller. I can make her bigger. Let's put her in the middle because she's the principal of this photograph. And when I've got it in the right place, simply click on the tick, and that puts it into place. Excellent. Now, other things we can do, clicking on Frames, I can add graphics. For example, I might want to add a blue balloon. Let's add a blue balloon. So I'm going to click and drag it into the photograph, open it up, resize it a little bit, and let's have it in the background here. Let's place it about there. Click on the tick, and let's add one more thing. Let's add a teddy bear. So I'm going to click and drag him in. Now, the teddy bear is not quite the way I want him to go. I want him to go the other way around. So I'm going to click on him and make sure he's selected, so he's got those squares around him. Then I'm going to go up to Image, Rotate, and I think if I do this correctly, unless it's going to rotate Miss Jan. See, it rotated everything, so we can't do that. That's okay. We'll flip it back. Ah, See, you learn something new every day, even when you're doing one of these. So what I can do is I can simply click and drag him, goes from one side to the other side. Easy as pie. Let's put him on the bench there and click on the tick. Okay, so we've got some objects, we've got a frame. Now let's see what else we can do. If I want to, I can add a few black and white shapes which I can then color in. That's all those shapes there. I can also add text, and that's the last thing I want you to do in your photograph. I want you to add some text. Now this text is actually quite a lot different. It's colored. So I'm going to add some grassy looking text. I'm going to click, drag the text box in, and it will hopefully come up. Excellent. So I can add my text in there. Miss Jan, you are amazing. Now that's a little bit too big. So what I can do is I can click 3 times. It will select the whole text, and up here is the font size. So I can choose 6. That'll be tiny. We can't see that. We don't want that. Let's try 60. Nope. Okay, let's go a bit bigger. How about we try 150? Oh, still bigger. Let's try 250. Ah, look, perfect. Click on the select tool and take it up to the top. And then we have our photograph with text and objects and a frame. Now the last thing you need to do is save your work. So I'm going to click on File, Save As. Don't worry about that. Now if you remember, we don't want to save it as a Photoshop file. We want to save it as a JPEG file. Now a JPEG file, or JPEG, is a file that is a picture. If we save it as a Photoshop file, it's not actually a picture, it's something different. So we want to save it as a JPEG file. I'm going to place it in My Documents, My Pictures, and I'm going to call it Miss Jan is Awesome. And save. Now you'll find a little box comes up after you click on save. It's basically asking you how good do you want the photo to look. You can make the image options the quality. You can make the quality bigger, or you can make the quality smaller. Let's make the quality big, the maximum. Finally, click on OK, and there you have it, all saved. So that's the end of that little lesson for today. Feel free to put up your hand if you have any questions. Otherwise, go for it. And this video is also a reference, so you can go back to certain points throughout the video to find out how to do certain things. Good luck.